The Arizona Senate had a speaker thrown out of the building after he told the truth about an anti-trans bill. This is from the Tucson Sentinel. Stick around. I'll talk about it after I read this. It says Arizona Senate chairman silences speaker after he calls an anti-trans bill genocidal. And it is genocidal, and we'll get into that. A community member was forcibly removed from an Arizona Senate Governing Committee hearing yesterday after condemning a Republican-backed resolution targeting trans people and accusing GOP lawmakers of advancing genocidal policies. Albert Levinson was speaking against SCR 1006, a resolution that would restrict trans youth from using bathrooms that align with their gender identity and criminalize the use of preferred pronouns. His comments were directed at Republican members of the committee. He said, I am against the adoption of SCR 1006. This bill and others introduced in this legislature this year and in years past, as well as similar laws passed in Republican-controlled states, are nothing more than further actions by your party attempting to carry out a genocide of transgender and intersex queer people. He's exactly right. Senate Government Committee Chairman Jake Hoffman immediately interrupted Levinson's testimony, striking the gavel and said, I'm stopping you right there. When Levinson attempted to cite recent reporting, including from Lookout, that references the Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention and Genocide Watch, which has warned that anti-trans laws in the U.S. are reflecting early stages of genocide, Hoffman cut him off again. As security approached, another committee member attempted to raise a point of order questioning why Levinson was being removed. Hoffman refused to recognize it until Levinson sat down. Then he said, you're done. And he said, I have a First Amendment right to speak. He screamed that while they dragged him away. So Senator John Kavanaugh, the Fountain Hills Republican who sponsored this resolution, then instructed security to remove him. He said, get him out of here. And guys, I watched this. It's all on video. You can watch it online. This is disgusting. Republicans' response to listening to their constituents' issues is to silence them and remove them from the room. This is how they treated the Republican town halls right after Trump destroyed our economy with tariffs. Levinson's removal came just one day after Lookout published an in-depth Q&A with Lori Shepard. She's the executive director of the Tucson Jewish Museum and Holocaust Center, examining how genocide is defined and how recent statements made by genocide scholars and institutions that track human rights warned how the U.S. culturally and politically is in early stages of genocide against trans people. In that interview, Shepard laid out the internationally recognized framework used by genocide scholars, including the definition established by Raphael Lemkin, who coined the word genocide in 1948 after the Holocaust. Genocide, she said, is not limited to mass killings, but includes the intentional, systematic destruction of a group through policies that cause serious bodily or mental harm or deliberately inflict conditions of life meant to make survival impossible. That's what they're doing to trans children right now. Shepard also detailed the 10 stages of genocide developed by Genocide Watch founder Dr. Gregory Stanton, emphasizing that genocide does not start with extermination. It starts with classification, discrimination, dehumanization, and government-backed policies that isolate and target a group. We're past all of those. We're past that point. Stanton was one of the scholars who warned about American politics echoing genocidal tactics in other countries. When asked directly about trans people, Shepard noted that trans people who make up less than half of 1% of the population have been subjected to hundreds of bills nationwide regulating where they can go to the bathroom, where they can access healthcare, or where they can even exist in public. That volume of legislation constitutes dehumanization and polarization, early warning signs that genocide scholars monitor very closely. Shepard also warned that denial is not a final stage, but one that appears from the very beginning. If we wait for someone else to decide whether this is genocide, it may already be too late, she said. It was those same scholarly warnings, including findings from the Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention, that Levention attempted to reference before Senate leaders cut off his testimony and ordered him removed from the room. This is the approach Republicans have taken to the trans community. Silence them and remove them. Trans people are facing a genocide here in the United States. And I refuse to be silenced during this. Because this man was silenced, I and others will now be louder. I will be more in your face about this. The American public sees this type of silencing. We see it with trans identity. We see it with the Epstein victims. We see it with voices of color in government and in news media. And we even see this when the Orange Prince Joffrey takes questions from reporters. If they ask a question he doesn't like, he will silence them after publicly humiliating them. And that's abuse. Republicans have abused America for far too long. Over 400,000 trans people have already migrated in our country from red states to blue states after the removal of our civil rights in red states. This is one of the largest migrations in U.S. history, and it is preparation for a genocide. Republicans think America will be the next Gaza. They can just murder the people that they don't want here. And if you don't believe me, just listen to the experts. Please like and share this. Leave your comments. Share this. Get this out. Spread this far and wide. And I'll be back very soon. Bye, guys.